The story opens in a grim prison where a pale and exhausted man named Arthur, infamously known as the Joker, sits in isolation. Once just a troubled man, Arthur gained shocking fame after he murdered 5 people in broad daylight. What should have been seen as a brutal crime turned him into a twisted symbol of justice, dressed as the Joker. His dramatic killings went viral through a film made about his life, igniting a cult-like following. Many believed he punished those who bullied and humiliated him, while society at large labeled him a dangerous madman. Despite being behind bars, Arthur's torment didn't end. Guards mocked him and he remained mentally disturbed. One day, during a routine trip to his lawyer, he noticed a woman intensely staring at him. Her name was Lee. Sheerily mimicked shooting him. But before things escalated, Arthur was pulled away by officers. His lawyer, who pretended to support him, was more interested in his media value. She arranged interview, shopping to sway public opinion and help her career. Arthur reluctantly agreed, knowing it might aid his release. He answered the media's probing, painful questions, revealing his fractured mind. Many suspected Arthur had fully become the Joker. His alter ego had devoured whatever humanity remained. Later, in a prison music room, Arthur encountered Lee again. Their awkward curiosity sparked a connection. Lee revealed she was jailed for setting fire to her house during a rage-filled argument with her mother, killing her. Arthur found her story disturbingly amusing. When she asked about his crime, he replied with a sinister smile. Everyone already knows their bond grew. Lee eventually proposed an escape. Arthur refused, fearing they'd be gunned down. Hurt, Lee burned the prison theater in a fit of anger as chaos erupted. And prisoners fled. Arthur and Lee remained still consumed by their strange bond in the fire's glow. They confessed their love, pretending to flee. They were quickly recaptured. Arthur, laughing hysterically, fully embraced his Joker identity. Once more, Lee later smuggled in makeup, painting his face and helping him become the Joker again. They shared an intense moment of connection. The lawyer returned with another journalist to assess Arthur's sanity. This time, she touched on the darkest moment of his past. Killing his own mother, Arthur tried to remain calm, but anger surged beneath the surface. Meanwhile, Lee's sentence ended and she watched Arthur's interview on TV from outside the prison. Arthur's court hearing finally approached as he was taken through. The city crowds lined the streets, chanting his name like he was a hero in the crowd. Arthur spotted Lee and smiled in court. The prosecution focused on his train murders. The defense painted him as a lonely, mentally broken man who acted out of self-defense and trauma. The judge postponed the final ruling. Outside, Lee confronted the lawyer, furious that she wasn't doing enough to save Arthur. The lawyer then dropped a bombshell. Lee had never been a real inmate. She lied her way into prison to meet Arthur, bribing officials after obsessing over his movie. Her parents were alive and her entire story was fake. When Arthur confronted Lee, she confessed she had fallen in love with him through the screen and wanted to save him. Arthur, oddly touched, forgave her. In the final trial, a neighbor testified about seeing Arthur attack his mother, but claimed he wasn't in his right mind. He had become the Joker, a persona society had pushed onto him. Inspired, Arthur fired his lawyer and chose to defend himself, appearing in court. Fully dressed as the Joker, he questioned a witness who had seen the murders. "Who did you really see that day?" he asked. The man replied, "I saw the Joker." Arthur used the moment to condemn the system, blaming the police for failing him. His furious speech caused another delay back in prison. Guards beat him mercilessly. Days later, court resumed. Lee arrived dressed like the Joker, hoping he'd be freed, but Arthur, crushed and exhausted, stood and confessed, "Yes, I did wrong. I am ashamed." His words stunned Lee. She stormed out, devastated. As the courtroom erupted in tension, a sudden explosion tore through the room. Many died or were injured in the chaos. Arthur escaped. A supporter in a Joker costume helped him flee, but stuck in traffic. Arthur jumped out and ran far away. He found Lee had begged her to run away with him to start over, but Lee rejected him coldly. "I loved a fearless man. You gave up. You confessed you're not him anymore," she said. Then came her final blow. Lee revealed she was pregnant. "I wanted us to raise a family, but I won't do it with a coward," she said, walking away. Arthur stood in silence, abandoned and shattered. The world he tried to conquer had turned its back.